Yo, mom's being kind of rude this morning, but she's saying all I want to do is fight with her. That's the last thing that came out of her mouth, and it's like, no, that's all you want to do with me. But anyway, let me put this phone in my pocket and go back. I can assure you, I don't want to fight with you. That's like, for the most part, I try to avoid that. You're generally the one who wants to fight.
I'm going to have an argument with you. I ask you to help me, and you want to give me a bunch of bullshit. I don't care when you help me. I want you to help me, and I want you to say yes. You can't answer a question two things: yes or no. That's what you need to learn to do. Yes or no.
You need to learn to stop being so conflict-ridden and so mean.
Don't be talking to me, Matthew. You're living here at my allowance. You're living here because you're my son, and I want you to do okay. But you don't have to live here, and you don't have to put up with my attitude. You need to change your attitude.
And I help you while
you
you're here.
need to change your attitude.
And you are belligerent and mean and rude.
You need to stop. You need to stop.
This is for no reason you're starting this in this morning.
I'm sick of your attitude.
I don't have an attitude. You explode in rage like you're doing right now.
I want you to stop, Matthew.
I'm willing to help you.
I want you to go up and pack your shit and move out. I don't want you to argue with me about everything. Don't you understand you're here at my allowance? Because I love you.
I would be doing okay if you help me with the things that I've asked for help with.
I'm not going to help you.
People have done wrong to me and you won't help me with it. And I could afford to live by myself if that wasn't going on.
Right.
I don't know why this morning you are just screaming at me. What shit? I help you all the time with everything you ask for. You're for some
you
reason
need to learn.
I'm just trying to say my prayers here.
That's your normal attitude, right?
Well, no.
Because he's not constantly trying to fight for no reason.
God.
Stop. Don't you understand? Stop.
Don't you understand how you come off? This is the last bit of time. You always talk about, oh, you're going to die soon.
Stop.
This is the last bit of thing I'm going to remember from you, is you're always constantly screaming at me and yelling at me and being
You're not going to remember any
conflict-ridden.
of your involvement in this. I want you to stop. I want you to
Because
work with me on
I'm not
things.
involved in the way you're saying I am.
Stop, Matthew.
You just
stop.
for no reason this morning, you've blown
It's not
up.
morning.
For no reason when I woke up today, you're angry at me because you don't.
I'm not angry at you. I'm angry at your response about when I ask you to help me. I just get a bunch of shit.
When you ask me to help you,
I want an answer. Yes or no.
what you're saying, no, I'm not going to put ant bait on top of the column where they go in.
All right,
but
thank
I'll
you.
put ant bait out there to deal with the ants.
Thank you.
And I very clearly said that, and you very clearly still exploded on me for no reason.
It's not no reason, Matthew. I'm sick of your attitude.
It's no reason. This morning there was nothing that triggered this other than you being off.
All right.
You were the angry
Don't be
one this
hollering
morning.
at me, Matthew.
I'm not.
Don't
I'm
you
trying
dare.
to emphasize the point that you were wrong this morning.
I'm telling you.
You were acting wrong
what you
this
need
morning.
to do. You need to go up and pack your bag because I'm not putting up with this anymore. I have put up with it. I am 80 fucking years old and I'm not putting up with this the rest of my life. I'm not. I don't have to. I've earned my keep.
You've earned your keep on this planet, and when you die, that's it. You don't go to heaven. You don't have anything like that.
Stop, Matthew. Stop.
And guess what? It is not okay that you just ignore what I've been asking your help
I am
with
not
on
going to get out
with
line
all
with
these
you.
evil people
I'm
fucking
not
with
going to
me.
get out of line with you.
You just pretend it doesn't happen.
I mean, if that's what you're going to blame
And
me
you're
for, Stop.
off for it.
Stop.
You're not a good mom on that. Thank you for letting me have some place to stay while these people
I want you to
abuse
stay
me.
here the rest of your life. But I don't want to put up with your shit.
Check this. I don't want to live here the rest of my life. I want my shit to be worked out. I just
I'm
can't
not
get
gonna
you to
lie.
believe that people have done something wrong to me.
Well, then go to the police and talk to the police. And then they're going to...
They already threw me in jail over
Well,
bullshit.
they're gonna do it again, so don't be go and talk to the police. I mean, but that's what
Why
your option
can't
is.
I just get you to look at what I'm saying
I'm not
and
gonna-
rationally?
I'm not gonna get involved in that bullshit. I'm not gonna get
And if
involved
it's
in it.
true, and this is how you've responded for however long, isn't that
I-
fucking evil? You don't think that's evil that
It's
people
not
have done this to
evil,
me?
Matthew.
Yeah, it is evil.
I don't have to take care of your problems. You
When this one that I'm
I
talking
am
about
gracious.
explicitly happened when I'm 16,
I am gracious enough to offer you to live in this house, to just about pay for everything. And, you know, I don't have a responsibility to completely.
yeah, you do. When it happened when I'm 16, when I was a minor, you at least need to look into it and see if what I'm saying is real.
You're just full of it. man.
No, you're full of it. You don't look at what I'm saying, which is real. You won't even give it a shot. You won't even give it a chance.
I'm not getting involved in that. Don't you understand that? I don't understand why.
And
you
that is always going to be the answer that you put out.
Well,
Even if these people literally have abused me in a way that is unconscionable, that's your response.
Well, you know, that's. I just.
If they bred me without fucking my permission, that's unconscionable. And I can't believe that I can't even get you to engage that this is happening.
I'm not putting up with this anymore. I tell you, I'm not. You need to get your act together.
What if, putting up with what? I came down and I said I would put the ant bait out.
No,
and then
you
you
didn't.
blew up on me and said,
No.
you either give me a yes or a no. That was what you did. I said I would put the ant bait out.
Every fucking thing.
No, you do. I said I would put the ant bait out and you got angry at me over this.
As I said, I'm 80 years old. I don't have to put up with this the rest of my life, which however long it's going to be, and it's not going to be very long. And I.
Yeah, so why are you constantly trying to fight with me over this?
That's
Over
not,
everything.
That's not what's going on, Matthew.
That is absolutely what's going on. You want to fight over everything.
You only look at things from your perspective.
No, you only look at things from your perspective.
You're never
We
wrong.
fight all the time. I'm wrong and I admit when I'm wrong, but
You're
you don't
never
at all,
wrong.
ever. You never admit when you're wrong.
You're never wrong.
That's what you mockingly say to me, but I don't say that. I'm wrong at times, and when I'm wrong, I admit it. But you never want to admit that you cause conflict for no
Please,
reason.
Please, stop. I want you to get over this. I want you to learn how to get over this, because I really do not have to put up with this, and I'm not putting up with this for the rest of my life. This isn't going to be very long.
So
I mean, just because.
here's my thing. When you're saying it's not going to be very long, this is how it ends with you screaming at me constantly and never engaging an issue which is paramount to my reality that
I am
I've
not
asked
gonna
and
get
begged
involved.
you.
It's craziness, and I'm not getting involved in it. Don't you understand that?
And when it comes out that it's real, this is your terrible response. Literally, it's hard to believe that you would act like this. It's hard to believe. And you say I'm the one in the wrong. I'm not. I didn't do this to myself, and you won't even
need
look
to go
into
to
it.
Therapy, and you need to get your act together, and
Did-
you need to understand what this is all about. I don't want to hear anymore. Go upstairs.
Because you never actually want to engage this issue. You never want to look into it, and you never want to fix
It's
it.
crazy. It's fucking crazy.
You're just a bad mom.
Well, thank you. You're a bad son. So there were you.
So when you've said that to me, and you haven't looked into this thing, and it comes out to be true, it's on you. You really are the bad mom. Let me go put out this ant bait.
You don't have to do that right now. That's not what I'm expecting. I just want you to participate and not give me a bunch of shit all the time.
This literally started
I'm
off as
tired of it, Matthew. I am tired of it. I decided that I'm not putting up with it anymore.
you just arbitrarily decided you were going to start yelling at
Well,
stuff. This is how this
One
played
of
out.
the times you're
Stop,
doing
stop.
the same thing to me,
I'm
you're
not.
not giving me an answer, yes or no.
I already
You're
gave you
wrong.
the answer multiple times, and now you're saying just go up and not do it because you're more involved in the emotional. Let me scream at Matt than actually getting something out of this. You just want to scream at me and be angry at me, and now you're drinking to empower it some more. I mean,
I want you to get over yourself.
no, you get over yourself. Stop being so
I don't
mean
have
to
get
Dad
over
and myself.
I own this house. I own that
And
car.
congrats, when you die and you don't have anybody that loves you, that's gonna be your
I'm
legacy,
not gonna-
is this house.
I'm not going to give a fucking care if nobody loves
I know,
me.
screaming, burning torture is gonna be terrible. this all started off with her telling me or asking me or something to put ant bait out because the ants are getting into one of the columns out here. I don't even know which column. And I said I would do it. And then I said, hold on, let me go up. And that's when I went and got my phone because I could tell she's in a mood. She's just angry for very little reason. When I tried to make small talk earlier, she was angry earlier. Which column is it?
You know who it is.
I literally don't know which column because the last time they were crawling up the door, not the column.
You need to go out there and look, and you'll see all the ant poop on the ground. You'll know what it's about.
I didn't see it, but when she's saying ant poop, I don't know what the. These are these little oak things. Like, I don't see any ants, nor do I see any ant poop. I guess I see one ant out here. Oh, now there's 3. Okay. I see ants. You know, kind of my point also is like, think about, I've had a rough go of things in the last 7 years, and I believe I've been lied on. Like, I've been lied on, but I can't really prove all of that out. Part of the thing that I think does prove it out is when I'm talking about the Alessandra Brocher thing, like, I believe something evil has happened there, and that, like, it proves there's a bigger, like, I think the Stephanie Jewson thing proves there's a bigger story going on around me than just, oh, Matt went crazy, or oh, he's mean, or like trying to be evil for no reason. And one of the ways that this just keeps going is she's never, like, no one tells Cheryl that, hey, this is really happening, this is a real situation that your son is in, because so many people, I guess, have participated to some degree, you know? And, like, so I'm in a situation where it's like, I'm thankful to have a spot where I can live, but she's, like, not regretting, but she's, like, coming to be angry at me for being here, I guess. You know what I mean? Like, if it's instantly going to me being, like, if her conversation's instantly going to me being a problem here and then I need to go. And, like, this is all of a sudden. Like, she has not been acting like this. And one of the things is, like, there's already like too much work here for Cheryl and Ray to do by themselves. Like, a lot of the time with what they are already generating, like their own, you know, like doing the dishes and garbage and stuff, like, it's already a lot for them to even just do that. Like, Dad doesn't want to do anything really anymore, and I can understand it, but they need all the help that they can get, and like, I, she loses nothing by having me here, and like again, definitely I've been just flat out robbed, you know, or like had multiple thefts happen to me while you know, over the past 7 years, right? And like you know, I think probably it would have been better if I had been living here and I had found the crypto money anyway, or I had, you know, found that I had invested it in it, because I had to live off that for a while, and still, you know, do. When she's saying she pays for everything, that's not quite true. I mean, I pay for my own food and stuff. I basically like I'm staying in a room that's paid for because they would not be using it for anything otherwise. And I help out while I'm here. And I have so many videos of me helping mom with like stuff, and then it turning into a conflict, and it's like everything is a conflict around here, even if I don't want it to be. But I don't want to be just like instantaneously lose the conflict because my mom wants to assert that she's the owner of the house and blah blah blah. Like, there's a lot of times where she's wrong or she's being really rude or something, and like she's saying I'm being rude on this, but like I said I would put stuff out. Like I very, like, that was what somehow she started this argument that you could hear, that I said I wouldn't do it, and it's like, no, I clearly said I wouldn't do it. And she's just screaming at me saying stuff that isn't reality, and like, you know, this is why I go and get my phone, because when she's in this mode, or when people are in this mode, it's just ignore reality and scream at me and be angry, and you know what I mean? Like, she doesn't even have to be saying truth. Like I didn't say I wouldn't put this out, you know what I mean? And like, that was her, that's what she's saying I said, which is just not true. And like, when she's saying say yes or no, it's like, well, I'd already said yes, but like, the answer to this isn't so simple as like, go put it on the column. Like, I just put, like, ant stuff at the end of the column here, and like, because I can see that there's some ants entering in the corner, and it's like made for this kind of thing, which got washed out in the rain. It's made for that, where you're supposed to put it on an ant pile, and then they take it down to the queen, and it kills the queen.
Common sense or science.
You're getting upset, you drink.
Well, let's not blame it on that.
Well,
Don't
no,
start
I'm
it.
not blaming it on you. I'm just saying you drinking and it's kind of getting out of hand.
It's not getting out of hand. You don't wanna hear it because you don't wanna take any responsibility for it. But I'm telling you the truth. It's gonna change.
I'm sure the neighbors can hear. You don't care about a lot of things, but, you know, I mean,
Do you want to, continue our family or do you not? Because
I want to
something
continue.
happened.
Why is that the
And you don't
threat?
have to curse.
Why is that the threat? You don't want to continue the family?
I don't wanna be here. I'm tired of being here. I don't wanna be here for the rest of my very short life.
Well, then you don't like your family.
No, I'm sick of you're rude to me, you're mean to
I'm
me.
not rude to you, and you're
I'm-
really, this is all of a sudden. You weren't saying this yesterday. You weren't saying this the day before.
I have been very, very nice to you.
No,
and
you go into different modes where you get really angry and extreme, and then you get out of that mode. You
Kindly to each
You
other.
need to listen to me. You two need to listen to me.
we are listening, but all you're doing is shouting and being mean right now. We're listening to you.
No, you're not listening.
We are listening to you.
Well, you better listen.
Well, we better listen to you. I mean, it's like it just changes to well, you better listen to me instead
You
of
two
are
go
listening.
get fucking jobs is what you can do, and you can support yourself. And I'm gone. Do you not understand this? I am
No,
gone.
we understand that, but once you make that choice, that's your life ruined. You don't have a bunch of like when I show and tell Aunt Kathy what's been going on and how this is how you act and how you've been drinking and it's spurred along by your drinking, your sisters are gonna be mad at you too.
Go away.
Go up to your room.
So stop being mean to Dad and I. Stop threatening us.
Go
Y'all
away.
get away.
This is why this household is so dysfunctional. My mom is the breadwinner. She has been since I was born. You know what I mean? Like that's the lifestyle that my mom and my dad chose. But my mom, for some reason, like you can hear her, she's like, I don't think she loves us in the same way maybe she used to. Like, first of all, here's what I think. Before I even say that, I think she's bipolar. And when I'm saying this, where I'm like, you weren't saying this the other day, all of a sudden she'll be fine for a while. Okay, I don't know where I accidentally hit the pause button, when I accidentally hit the pause button, so let me repeat kind of what I said. Like yesterday, you couldn't have, she was in a good mood yesterday, it felt to me like, and that she wasn't going to be, it wasn't something where you could push her into this mode. Because like, you know, kind of like what I'm saying here. Hold on, let me put on my other pair of socks. So I'm thankful for my mom that I'm able to live here and that that I have housing. You know, I pay for my food. Sometimes they pay for it. Sometimes I pay for, you know, just things that are mine that I want for, but for the most part, it's my parents have a house. They're both living in the house. That's been the plan. Like my mom is almost saying it as if she doesn't want to be here with Dad, which is like, well, that screws him because like he's retired. You know what I mean? And I don't see him making lifestyle changes. And she seems like he's not going to. And she seems angry at that, but like she knows she knew and knows the score, you know, like that's what it is, and that she's kind of like, she's in this position of being breadwinner, which she's always been in, and that, you know, she supports paying for the house, and she's a lawyer. My dad wasn't a lawyer, and he wasn't in as much of an earner position as she is and was and is, because she's doing these TDIs now, which pay well, which I'm thankful for. And one of the reasons I think we get them even is what's going on with my is whatever's going on around me, that something sees that probably it would be a problem if I've been attacked like this and there's like no help for the family at all. But in any instance, I like, she just swung into this mode where she's like, as I was saying, I don't know if it was paused when I was saying this, but I feel like she's very bipolar. And like my dad's saying, she's drinking currently. And to me, it's earlier in the day because my schedule's like off everybody's by 8 hours. So I'm doing, you know, my morning stuff now. And then, you know, it's just like when she's asleep, I'll be awake still for hours. You know what I mean? So it's not as if I'm not up at all. You know what I mean? It's just I have a different schedule in the day. It's similar to my cousin Alex, who works at like a IT center or server center or something, and he has to be there late at night. Well, in a similar kind of way, like I'm just more apt to be up at night. Like, it's less mentally stressful being up at night to me. But my mom is just acting like really inappropriate. Like you could hear a lot of what she's saying. One of the reasons it's really stressful is like, it's like the general idea is that, yeah, you're the breadwinner. We have this house that we've been in for like 20 something, since I was 6, you know what I mean? Since 1996 or 1997, I guess that's almost 30 years. So, you know, my dad is retired. It's like he gets Social Security benefits, and you know, they use those for him, and you know, mom is doing well with her law stuff. She's doing TDIs these days, which are like, she mediates between insurance companies and like, I don't know, health company, like, and doctors and health insurance companies to find how much they're going to pay for certain like medical procedures that people have had done, that there's like some kind of argument. And so she helps the Texas Department of Insurance like set those correct. She like mediates or whatever. So she's been getting a lot of those, and those are paying for things. And like, because those pay well, she can do them easily, and they pay on time because it's the government. And so but this is the first time in a while where she's gotten in this mode where she's like, and this happens sometimes where she swings into it. This is why I'm saying it's like bipolar. And some of it, when my dad's telling her that she's drinking too much, it is just the case that when she drinks more, she acts more irrational and more argumentative. Both of them, when they drink, they're more difficult to deal with, both of them, when they drink. And like, nothing spurred this conflict on this more. Like, I'm glad I got the camera, because that got to a point where she's just saying, she like immediately jumped to like, let me kick you out of the house. Do you know how, like, on top of how stressful this stuff is that I'm going through, where I believe I have children that I didn't consent to having, and that, like, you know, they're basically being used as, like, psychological weapons against me. hypothetically, even if I'm just a crazy guy and this woman is using her kids to make me feel bad, it still doesn't feel great. But I don't actually I believe that I'm pretty sure Alessandra Ambrosio's children are my biological children. They don't look like the guy who's purported to be their biological father. There's just some weird shit going on that to me it doesn't look like it. But it's already stressful enough. Then to have like constant fights and arguments with my mom that I'm not trying to have. It's like when I have my point and she sees the other point, she sees the argument as me having a counterpoint to what she has, even if she's wrong, even when she's wrong. And like, it's just for no reason conflict because she feels like there needs to be a fight or something. Like, and so, it's stressful on top of dealing with that stuff that like all of a sudden now today, this wasn't like a stress or a threat that was on me like yesterday, but all of a sudden today, the stress and the threat is like, I'm going to kick you out of the house. You know what I mean? Like, it just turned into that because I don't know, because she's bipolar or she's having a bad day or something. And the mental toll that, like, I'm already going through it's difficult. What I'm saying is difficult. I think it's happening, right? But even if it's not, I don't think I'm I'm in the most stable situation, like, as a person anyway. Some of that has to do with, like, dude, I believe I'm like physically crippled to a degree, like disabled from something. And like, I think it comes from, whatever this situation is that I'm describing where people have done something to me. And that's the stuff that I've talked about biblically. I think it's a Bible thing that this is something talked about in the Bible. There's Genesis 32 strike on the thigh thing. But then to also have to deal with like, well, and now your sports system, though reasonably, what I'm saying also is if this happened when I was 16, you know what I mean? Like if Anja Ambrosio is my daughter, she's saying like, basically she's trying to say like she has no responsibility. That is not the case. If I was a minor when they started this, there is some responsibility on your part. You're just, first of all, I think on the face of it, if they did do this and this is how you're responding, you're a bad mom. But if like it started in 2008 to the degree that I'm suggesting, where like I think I was bred without my permission in 2008. If that's actually the case, and so I on one side I have these people who attack me, and then on the other side I have my mom saying it's like, well, it's my fault if it happened, and she's not, she's not going to look into it, and she doesn't care, and I'm supposed to be the responsible one, and it's like reasonably I wasn't a consenting adult at that time, and there is responsibility on your part as my guardian. But I wouldn't blame that on her, because I think what the people have done is so fucking extremely evil, and there's not much precedent to it. But still, there is some level of like, well, if I'm in this situation, you should help me. You know what I mean? You're my mom. You're supposed to help me. You're not supposed to question my sanity and tell me I need to go to I need to go get therapy. What did going to therapy do anyway? It didn't do anything. I've been to therapy. It doesn't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm going to talk to anybody that I use the computer, just like actually talking and getting these videos out where I can like express myself. I use that as like a kind of therapy. But to have my mom like all of a sudden just like, what seemed to be a stable situation, right, here at the house, and then it's just like, this is why it's so difficult, is that she can just decide one day like she doesn't like the family, she doesn't like living with us, she doesn't like being with us, which I think is terrible for her to even say this stuff. It's like what do you think, you're gonna find a young man who's gonna take you and you're gonna explore the world and stuff? I'm sure you could find some guy to exploit your money, but like, You know what I mean? Is there really going to be love there? Are you going to find that fulfilling actually? No, probably not. And if you did, you're a shitty person anyway, but you know what I mean? Like you're just deciding like you don't like the like the lifestyle that you built. You know what I mean? Like you decided that this was what you wanted, this house and this, my dad and even me. Like, some of it I'm asking. Like I get no input into my own. They don't want to help me on things that I think are happening. And it's like, well, why do you think if it's like a failure to launch thing, why do you think if I'm asking for specific help on something, which I'm like I've made it abundantly clear first of all, and I would suggest this is clear. I've been I've had money stolen from me multiple times, which like, you know, the first instance is still being paid back the Big Rail stuff, and I think it's even more than what like it was at a certain point it was worth 800 and something $1,000, right? And then there's a big hack on this small exchange, right? And like a huge amount of the crypto got stolen and then it devalued and like, went through a whole process. But like um like I feel like the number of instances times that first of all I've been attacked in a way at my money, and second of all the idea of like, well, like it's not as if I can't make money or find ways or something, but I'm trying to tell you like also, hey, these people who've attacked me, who like it looks to me like they've attacked me, and I'm willing to present some evidence and like a thing showing like, hey, like this is what I'm trying to do is make it as obvious to the AI that something is going on so that eventually the AI can be like an AI lawyer or agent for me, an advocate, and help me get this remedied. But until that point, what I'm trying to say is like my mom's not going to help me, even if it is literally affecting my money. Like, some of this stuff, like the thing that I'm saying that's going on with my right side where I'm like disabled, essentially. I mean, it hurts every day, and I don't have the same capabilities on my right side as I have on my left side. I'm not completely hobbled to the point where I can't do anything, but it hurts a lot, and it's doesn't go away, and I'm not nearly as effective on my right side, and it's something I'm focused. Like I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking about it. I go to bed and I'm thinking about it. It hurts. I can't stop it from hurting, and I can't stop it from feeling it, but I can work on it maybe and strengthen it. And some of it I feel like has to do with this thing that I'm saying that has been done to me. And so like it's just like multi-layer of things like money, like I think it's kind of disabling me. It's fucking with my mental health. It is, but I need some resolution that's not just like don't think about it. You know what I mean? Like that's not reality, and that like some of it I am doing that, but I'm also making music to show like, hey, this is a narrative that's real. There something happened here, whether I'm like whether I can show it well or not. And it's just this sucks. Look, whatever this situation that I'm going through is, it isn't made easier with what transpired with my mom earlier. And I think she's really in the wrong for acting like she's acting. And like, part of my point is like, I don't think you can have like, if the one thing is happening to me with Alessandra Ambrosio, those are my kids, right? And then like, I can't get anybody in my support structure to believe that this is real. You know what I mean? I can hear my mom screaming somewhere.
He is so rude to me. Don't you hear how rude he is to me? Don't you hear? No, I don't want to come there.
You don't want to talk with me. You don't want to talk with me.
Oh, isn't that terrible?
Like, she's being rude to him.
Be angry. You don't want to talk to her.
am angry. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it, Ray.
I'm sure that you are, Cheryl. But at least you could come here and talk with me about it.
What you gonna say? Well, I mean, you're watching, pick on me and be rude to
I
me.
don't pick on her and be rude to her.
And you don't do anything about it. Nothing. And when I just have had enough, then we gotta have some kind of fucking crisis.
Like, she's the one screaming at me. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, I'm being rude to her is just not immediately doing everything she always says, however she wants it, even when she's wrong. And a lot of it has to do with, like, we're working on the computer stuff, and she wants to do something other. She asks me for help and then tells me what she thinks I need to do, which is like, you don't know what you're talking about. Let me just do what I'm talking about with the computer. But, like, you can tell the way that she's screaming about it, and with Dad. Like, she's screaming at Dad, and she's saying it's because I'm rude. And I'm just looking at it like, I literally have to get the phone. You know what I mean? I don't think she knows that I'm recording these, which good, because reasonably she's acting normal. This is how she acts. And she's saying it's on me, that I'm the one that's being belligerent and causing conflict, and I'm being rude to her. And, like, that's why it's all right for her to scream and yell and shout and cause conflict. There isn't conflict. I'm not being rude to her. I'm not being mean to her. And she's just screaming and angry and doesn't care what the facts are, doesn't care what the reality is. She's gonna be mean and angry about stuff. And that's how it's been for a long time. But, like, I don't know why all of a sudden today, she's decided, like, I don't know, there's a bigger problem than there has been or something. There hasn't, like, everything has been fine up until now. I don't know why all of a sudden. I even thought, like, yesterday, oh, she's nice today. That was yesterday. Today, I don't think that. You know what I mean? Like, she's being really angry and mean, and she's shouting at Dad and, you know, saying stuff. It's like, when she says I'm being rude to her, it's that I don't respond in the exact manner that she wants me to, and I could be as kind and nice as possible, and she is just, you know, like, she's angry about it. I don't know, part of me wants to go down and get more coffee and, like, you know, one of the reasons I'm even trying to record here is just like, why? What is the point of getting all angry at this like this? You know, like, my whole thing is like, do you want to leave Dad and I? If you want to leave Dad and I, just do it. You know what I mean? Like, don't hold it as like a threat over our heads forever, and use that, like, unsettling nature of destroying the family because you don't like something that's going on, or whatever the fuck the reason is. Just do it. Like, it sucks sitting here and it's like she wants to destroy the family. You know what I mean? Like, she wants to, she doesn't like whatever the situation is so much, like, that she wants to stop it. And, like, you know, this is what happened this morning when I woke up, and I, you know, or today when I got up and I went downstairs, and she's sitting on the at the chair that is her chair. Like, she and Dad have chairs next to each other pretty much where they can watch TV from. She's sitting in her chair watching, like, streaming Designated Survivor. And I asked, is that a movie or a show? And she's like, I don't know, does it matter? And I'm like, well, I mean, I don't know, it might. It's a different thing. I'm just asking about what you're watching. I don't know, I'm not trying to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I wasn't trying for it to be a conflict, and I could tell there was already, like, anger and fight in her voice. You know what I mean? Like, so I kind of go up next to it and I go, oh, Designated Survivor Season 1, Episode 2, or something like that. So it's a show. And I go to get coffee, and she's like, what, does it matter that it's a show? Like, you know, she's still, like, being, like, trying to bring a conflict for no reason. And so I'm like, I mean, no, it doesn't, you know, I go, it just might affect how you're gonna watch it. And so I start getting my coffee, and as I'm getting my coffee, she starts talking about the ants that are going up I don't know, one of the columns. And I think she's bringing it up because I had shown that there were some ants out that climbed up next to the door and that were, like, bundled up. I don't know, they, like, went up in the corner, but next to the front door. And so I'm like, well, you know, I tell her, it's like, we don't have ant killer. I don't think that, like, you spray in a hole, but we do have stuff that, like, you put on a mound and it'll go and kill the ant stuff, but I don't think I can put it in a hole. You know what I mean? I like what she was describing, like, there's, like, a hole up at the top, and I'm like, I don't think it's not like a spray, and it's not something, like, I'm not going to be able to put it up in a hole. I don't know, it's a powder, you know what I mean? And even if I do, the way that it works is they're supposed to take it to their queen, I think, and then they kills the queen. So, I mean, I can put it around the hole down at the bottom, and we can hope that they go do that. But I don't think it's that kind of ant stuff. And this is why she kept saying, like, you need to just say yes or no. You can do it or you can't. And I'm like, I'll go put it out there. You know what I mean? Like, but I don't think it's gonna do like, I don't think it's gonna be the end all be all for killing these ants, right? And she's just, I even remember when I walked downstairs and we kind of, part of our small talk, it was like, oh, it's a pleasant day. Like, you know, it's kind of overcast. So it was just like, you know, trying to say that. And like, you know, it didn't, like, there's nothing like, if I could record this, and I totally would, I would record every waking moment of everything. And one thing that we're going to have eventually, like, right now I can record it and I could hope that a third party would see it, but eventually we're going to have AIs, and it's going to be really obvious that you're going to have AI mediators who have no, you know, they're not emotional, and, like, all of how she's acting is emotional. None of it is reasoned thought, or logic. And she's just, you know what I mean, where hopefully at a certain point you could have an AI point out, like, hey, this is what's going on here, and, like, based on what I can see, like, you need to calm down, and, like, not, you're coming from a place of your feelings, and you need to calm down on that. And maybe he needs to step back and just say, like, you know, I'm not trying to fight with you, or something. I don't know, something. You could have some kind of AI thing where it, like, tries to help walk you through and maybe mediate stuff, and where it can be a third party that, like right now, she can just say something, and, like, the only way I could check her on it is if I have, like, she can say that she said something, or that something has gone a certain way even though it hasn't. And the only way I could prove it is this, right? And so, like, eventually I think you just have AIs that are constantly listening, like, on your phone or on whatever, and then you could just pull it up and be like, hey, can you mediate this argument, or can you, you know, So I'm not wearing a watch right now. Like, say I'm wearing a watch where it'll be like, it's been listening to our conversation, and it can be like, well, here you said this or that or the other. Kind of my point with this is just like having something that's recording it. When she's talking, even if like, she'll just say shit that isn't true, and she'll remember shit that isn't true, and she'll remember parts of our conversation which isn't true, and it's like the way that she's shading the way the event happened, you know what I mean? It's like the way that it's painted in her head as having happened, even if it hadn't happened like that. Does that make sense? And like, that's one of the reasons I record here, you know, like I record on my phone or whatever. Or, you know, in 2018, like I learned in 2017 that people can lie about you, and if you don't have evidence proving that it's a lie, you can get in trouble for it. You can get like parts of your life basically stolen away on things that, on events that didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, so I try to record everything so that at least my perspective, I have a like a hard copy version or digital copy version that I can maybe pull up certain points in order to back up my side of it. And I'm very conscious of this. But that's not how she thinks at all. And like, she doesn't, you know what I mean? If you actually were to record everything, like when I've tried in the past, she freaks out. When I tried to record her on her own phone, she literally freaked out. And I never got that video because she freaked out and took her phone, and then she just kept her phone close to her for a while. And it was like, well, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, the only reason you're going to get freaked out or angry at a recording is if you're acting off on the recording. You know what I mean? Or if you're being wrong on recording. Which, you know, my point is that I think she's being wrong. And like, I do appreciate living here. Part of my point is I don't think I would have to live here if I'm actually getting what's mine. Did people breed me without my permission? I mean, actually, because I think that actually has happened, and you know, there is I think there's monetary consequence to doing that. You know what I mean? Like, I think you owe me more than just, you know, I think you owe me a lot of money, and then I think you got to pay me back in other ways too. But you know what I mean? Like, but you know, and the people who've done this are very wealthy that I'm suggesting, right? And I'm trying to tell my mom, and like, you know, she should be my support. She should be the one who wants to go out there and help me remedy it and make it right for me, not the other. Like, she shouldn't be the one to shush me down and tell me it's not happening and that I'm crazy. And part of my point is like, how, like, this is why I think she doesn't want it to be true, is that since like 2017, when I've tried to tell her that things are going on where people are doing stuff wrong to me, like, I think maybe if I'd tried to tell her before then, like, I didn't really have as much of an outward case that people were doing stuff, but prior to 2017, even though I think things had happened, right? But in 2017 and in 2018, when I tried to tell them what was going on, they didn't give a fuck. You know, they don't believe me. And it's like, you know, it's the same thing I think that women maybe in the Me Too stuff went through or go through, or it's the same thing where it's like, where you gotta, what do they say, believe all women? And it's like, because they don't believe most women when it comes to like certain allegations, and some women are lying, but it's the idea of like, all right, well, I have a case where if you don't believe it, it's destroying my life, like that these people have done this to me. And if you do believe it and you can help me, it like, I think it's like the end of the Bible. Like, it matches Like, based on what I can see, it seems to match the description of the events of this second and third churches in Revelation. I mean, second and third chapters of Revelation, which seem to match what's going on with my situation, like with what I'm describing as having happened. And I think there's like a monetary payout, a spiritual payout. Like, I think there's a big payout if I can get a support system to actually help me prove it out. But if I can't, I'm like in this really evil position where my life is being fucked with, and like the people, the and person that like should most be there to support me, my mom, is like acting like she's acting right now, where I'm a burden, and where she didn't like, she's tired of me and she doesn't want to be here in this situation. And it's like, it just sucks. It sucks a lot. It's not easy to go through. But and like, even if I moved out today, I wouldn't know where to go. Like, I would, you know what I mean? I'll say this: I don't think she can just kick me out and like I have to be out tonight. I do think like there's clearly I'm allowed to live here now, and there's which entails some kind of renter's rights, I think. And so, in fact, I should look that up actually, but I think you get like 48 hours to. Anyway, I'm not trying to fight. My whole point is like, I think you get a certain amount of time that they have to give you to move out. Yeah, it looks like if there's a month to month, it says that she'd have to give a 30-day notice. And probably if there's if there is no lease, an adult child is considered a guest, and the parent can ask them to leave at any time, but must provide a 30-day notice to vacate. And she's literally saying, like, go up and get your shit. And it's like, she's a lawyer. And I'm pretty sure she's done this. She should know that she can't, like, she can just say that, but then I have 30 days to, like, get stuff. But also that means, like, our relationship's done. You know what I mean? She kicks me out of here. I don't want a relationship with her. Not the way that she treats me. Kind of what I've been saying is, like she can at least make up for, I mean, to some degree, the lack of like knowing about this evil shit that has happened to me, and like being like participating in it. She can at least make up for it to some degree by helping me stay here and giving me the time to, like, I don't know, do some stuff, and I like, make the art stuff, and maybe try to bring it out into the open like I've done. But anyway, let me finish my coffee, and then I'm gonna go down and get some more coffee, and then that's the last time I'm going down for, like, while she's downstairs. And part of my thought is like, like when she's like this, it's just avoid her. Like that's all I can do because when she's not like this, it doesn't matter. I'm not like I don't have to walk on eggshells in the same type of way. I generally uh, you know, I don't want to say wrong. Sometimes I make a joke with like she'll be very jokey, and then she's like, "Well, why don't you aren't fun to like make jokes with." But then when I try to make jokes with her, it's like she takes it completely seriously, and I can't. You know what I mean? Like she'll take it in a wrong way, and it's just like, okay, well that's why I can't make jokes. All right, hold on. So it's not a very comfortable thing.
25%.
Tonight, at car dealerships across the country, your phones are ringing.
They're ringing. Customers are concerned.
We first met last
They want to make sure that they're getting in if they need a car and making that deal before the tariffs kick in. Consumers are going to bear the brunt of this.
for higher prices as the president puts 25% tariffs on imported cars and auto parts. But almost half of cars sold in the U.S. and 60% of auto parts are imported. Goldman Sachs estimating tariffs could add $5,000 to $15,000 to the price of foreign-made cars and $3,000 to $8,000 on cars made in the U.S. because of border taxes on the parts. For David Jefferson, who works on an assembly line in Detroit, that cost may be worth it.
The American people have to realize that Trump is putting these things in place to be able to keep the American people working.
The Trump administration banking on tariffs to spur more investments and bring factories back to the U.S. But retooling a factory is slow and costly.
The president would love to see all vehicles in the United States built in the U.S. with 100% U.S.-made parts.
They build
The industry is set up
new
on
cars.
a regional basis, so there will still be production in Mexico.
Canada's prime minister says the U.S. is no longer
Okay, well, there was no problem there. I mean, I guess the last thing that she wanted to pop up, I think since Trump got elected, she's been really on edge. And you could hear her say like 25%, they're going to cost 25% more. And then you could hear her say, and he wants to be in there for a third term, which it does look to me like that's the case. But, which also, like, just imagine, like, kicking me out and, like, the stuff that I am saying about Revelation was happening. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, you aren't going to be protected during that period. Right? Like, it seems to suggest the person overcoming is going to be protected and, like, have a support system or something around them. So this is one of the reasons why I'm still hopeful. Like, I don't think that my reality is over or anything, but it's just stressful for no reason. Like, I love my mom. I don't want to fight with her. I don't want there to be constant conflict between us. I don't want her to feel like she hates what her reality is. Some of that is like, well, if I'm not here, does that get any better? You know what I mean? I don't think so. I think you just have more shit to do with less hands, and you have a less, you know what I mean, like a less filled house with, like, I love my mom, so with someone with less love in the house, even if you think there's conflict, like, I'll say this, even if I didn't live in this house, there'd be a lot of conflict because my mom is, if you can't tell, difficult, and she fights with dad, and you know what I mean. I think one of the reasons dad is kind of in the middle of, like, that argument earlier, and when I'm looking at him, he's just kind of like, well, what the fuck do I do? You know what I mean? Like, that's how I feel with this too. It's like, and I've kind of said it in the video, but like, look, if you're threatening to go or something, like, you want to go, because that was always her threat. She was going to sell the house and she's going to go get in her own apartment and live by herself. And it's like, if that's really how you feel, just do it. You know what I mean? Like, don't just sit here and try to use that as a tool to, like, beat me and dad over the head and to make us feel less desired. You know, if a man was doing that to a woman and his child, it would be pretty shitty. Same thing, Cheryl. You're the man in this situation. You're doing that to my dad who's retired and me who's like, you know, I'm gonna suggest crippled and like harassed and targeted by a huge group of people, that the only way that this is still going on is that some of it is that you just won't admit that that's the case. That the second part, at least, they even I think realize that I'm hurt, you know what I mean? But they don't want to engage what I'm saying about it and like how I think it gets remedied. Does that make sense? Like I just have to keep at trying to get my right leg and my right arm stronger, and whatever the deficit is there I have to overcome it so that I can be normal and have like a normal, like I want to be as strong on my right side as I am on my left side, and less so about the strength, more about the like my left side's not constantly in pain, my right side is constantly in pain. If I can get my right side to be healed, maybe I can actually focus a bit more on other things that aren't that isn't all this stuff, you know. But okay, I'm gonna end this here and like actually do some, you know, start my day and then do some work and stuff. So all right, hope this made sense of why all this stuff is going on like this, and you understand, like you can see that this is not easy, that this is a difficult, stressful fucking situation for no reason to go through this. And like again, all it takes is someone helping me verify that this is really happening, and in the least my mom probably stops acting like she's acting. Because she can act like this because it's like, you're crazy, Matt. What you're saying is not happening and whatever. You know what I mean? And like, I'm not going to listen to it. Or this is the part that is bothersome the most to me. She's not going to investigate it. She's already told me if I want to convince her that the reality that's going on, that I believe is going on, and this is even in a video that I think is already on my YouTube. She has demanded the same amount, like she's the judge in a court, and I have to provide evidence. It can't be a hypothetical situation. You know what I mean? She won't think in hypotheticals. You aren't the judge. You know what I mean, Cheryl? You aren't the judge. You're, at best, my lawyer. You know what I mean? You should be my advocate and my lawyer. The fact I think that maybe the craziest part of all this is that I have to replace you with an artificial intelligence in that, like when I'm talking about an AI advocate and lawyer, the fact that I have to get an AI to do it, and we're at the point where it looks like it almost can. I need a little more time before the AI is going to be able to auto do this for me. You know what I mean? Hello? Got a call from Lubbock. It might be the AI trying to say something. But you know, the fact that the AI can almost be the just like a commercial AI can almost be the lawyer for me and an advocate in a way that I've been asking my mom to do for years now. And like, you know, I think the thing is she's like embarrassed of me. Like I'm her child, and she's willing to listen to other people that have wronged me and then who are saying, you know, like a good example was the Dynamo thing. She believed them over me. Their letter, which was written on their legal letterhead, which had lies on it, which also, some of this I've said before, after they sent that to her, she believed me a lot less. Like, their slander, right? Their lies led to her thinking me that I'm like deficient and I'm lying and I'm causing problems, and it's like almost like she has to be embarrassed about me, right? That's what just some lies from the Dynamo organization did. The Houston Dynamo, the soccer team. Chris Canetti and Zach Emans specifically. Zach Emans and Hugo, I think his last name was Salamanca, but Hugo, who is the ticketing agent, that dude's lies like really fucked up my reality. You know what I mean? Like because he told, what I think is his bosses told him to lie, because they said that I'd said something about their employee. But the only, like, I think what happens was he was going to get in trouble with them because he had verified multiple times to me that they were running this, like, fake trials, Dynamo trials thing. But long story short, when we sent a Deceptive Trade Practices Act thing, we got a letter back where they alleged I was, like, I said, like, fucked up stuff to their employee, told him like my parents, like my mom and my dad would get him in trouble or just some bullshit like that. It's like, you know, since then my parents believe me a lot less, and then, or my mom in particular, and that was when we started having problems in this household, and I got kicked out, which she suggests is related to, I had been smoking cannabis at the time. But I had been smoking cannabis the whole time I was back. And, like, she, you know, long story short, it was immediately after this letter that we got, that she says she made an ultimatum for me to either stop or leave the house, like, be kicked out. Like, either I could stop smoking or I could be in the house, or I could, like, stay at the house. And she says that I chose to go. But in reality, they just kicked me out. Like, there was no ultimatum given. It was just, get out of the house, like, go. Like, I left the house for a little while to, like, I needed to get out of the house in a car, and when I got back, the door was locked. And I was like, okay, well, let me at least get my stuff out of the house. And so I was able to get my stuff, and I stayed in a parking lot, and that was when I lived out of my car. And the only thing that saved me during that period was I found several $100,000 worth of Ethereum while I was, that I had purchased in, like, the years prior. And then, so, like, that helped me for the next year. But then the next year around that time, like, in, you know, that was when I started going through that was when the Bicrill thing happened. That was when that was 2017 when the Dynamo thing happened, in March of 2017. Probably that letter was dated March 20 something of 2017. And then I still have it all. I mean, it's all in my records and in my digital records too. That's why another thing, like with the Dynamo thing, I'm not gonna, like, let it drop. There's something is gonna have to make up for lies against me, for, like, all the problems that people have done. I'm not just gonna drop it. I have all the records of everything. I remember well enough to, like, hey, this all happened and nothing is made up for it. You know what I mean? And I've just taken shit and lies and more problems in my reality since then. And so in, like, 2018 is when I got sent to the mental hospital. And, like, part of my thing is, like, has that helped at all? You know what I mean? All it did was it chilled me out, because I realized, like, they really would, on bullshit, send me to a mental hospital. So, like, there has to be some level of, okay, like, I just can't be as angry about what's going on, you know what I mean? And I can't show so much emotion. I should just say my part, record it, and then let it be judged by, like, a powerful AI or something in the future. That's what I've been trying to do for years. And we're at the point where, okay, the AI is getting powerful enough to where it could judge this stuff and say like, no, Cheryl seems to be out of line. Or, you know, we're getting to the point where it could be like, Cheryl, these people did lie to your son. Here's the evidence. Here's the records. Because it could pull it up. Because a powerful enough AI can just, could get any of the records. You know what I mean? So I'm just hoping we get to some point where I can be defended by like an AI that's like, hey, in all these instances, people are lying on him. People are like actively attacking him. Like he really does have, there really are people who are adversarial against him trying to fuck with his reality. And like, Cheryl, you're supposed to be his support system in this. And you're constantly telling him, you know, that he's the bad guy and he's in the wrong and that he's causing you problems, when in reality you're overlooking this evil that has happened to your son and you won't even engage it. That's what I'm hoping. And you pretend it isn't happening and make him feel crazy for thinking it is. And it's absurdly wrong. Like the thing that I'm suggesting that has happened to me, I think is like next level evil. And so anyway, I just have to keep having faith, and hopefully I get a resolution to this soon. But okay, that's it. Have a blessed one. I'll catch you next time. Later. Yeah.